Today, we're talking about how you can win as a solo founder in 2025. Now, the sad truth is that most side hustles don't make a single dollar. And it's mainly because there are so many moving parts to running a business that all need to work together smoothly for you to succeed. It's honestly like flying a plane. Get it right and you can take to the skies. But get it wrong or get a few things mixed up and soon you're plummeting to the ground and eventually gonna crash out. Now, most people will say there's no way you can do everything yourself. And honestly, up until now, they've mostly been right. But here's the thing, we're in a massive technological revolution. And with that, it's no longer just possible to do everything yourself. It's actually becoming practical. And I wanna share with you the strategy that I've found that can make all of this a reality. It's a pretty new concept and I really don't think many people know about it yet, but once I figured it out, it's gotten me really fired up and I want everyone to know about it because if you truly implement these steps, then you're gonna have a much greater chance of success with any side hustle that you run. Now that strategy is all about becoming an AI orchestrator. And there's really just two key concepts to this. Number one is all about mastering high-level business strategies. And the second is learning how to leverage all of the AI tools out there to do all of the grunt work for you and be the expert in each vertical required for your business to run. I guarantee that if you dedicate your time to following this strategy, you will have exponential growth in your business. And I say that because this is honestly the exact strategy I've been following for myself. And it's actually been working. I was able to launch a fully functioning MVP for my latest idea within 3 weeks, as well as create my core sales funnel with really top tier copy that I personally would not have been able to come up with. But by focusing on being this AI orchestrator, I was actually able to get really great results. So first up, why exactly do we need a new strategy for building on your own? Well, I think it really boils down to one fundamental flaw with the traditional startup advice you might find, because it assumes you have the ability to create a team to divide and conquer all of the tasks related to running your business. You're usually told to focus in on your strengths and delegate the rest. But when you're just starting out on your own, it's not really realistic to follow that. You know, you're pretty much expected to wear all of the hats. You're supposed to be your business's best marketer, salesperson, technical lead, customer support rep, product manager, and everything under the sun. And there's just no way that one person can learn all of that, especially when this is just a side hustle where usually you have another commitment, such as a full-time job, where you just don't have the time to dedicate to learn all of these very specific skills to run a successful business. Now you can try, but just from my own personal experience, it's just not something that you can truly do. My full-time job is in software development, so I have a really deep skill set when it comes to the technical tasks to build a product, but marketing, sales, content creation, finances, basically everything else is like brand new to me. And so I would try to get into those like very specific tasks and learn them, start reading books, learn how to write good copy, and you just get burnt out so quickly trying to learn everything that you need to learn to run a business. You end up just a jack of all trades and master of none. So that's what made me kind of step back and think about, hey, there's this big technical revolution happening with AI. Are there ways that we as solo founders can use and leverage AI in an actual useful way to cover all of the bases of running a business for us? And that's where I've stumbled upon this concept of becoming an AI orchestrator. So let's break it down a little bit more. Large language models like ChatGPT and Claude have really changed the game in terms of how we can think about using AI as an assistant for all of the things you might need to accomplish. But there's a catch. All of these tools are only as good as the input you give into them. And what I mean by that is if you put in a generic input like create a business plan for me or generate a list of ideas for my next startup, you're not really gonna get anything that has real value to it. And that's where that first part of becoming an AI orchestrator comes in. Because what we need to do as the human in this process is understand the strategic level of what we're trying to accomplish. So we need to be able to tell each of these AI tools that we might use the specific strategy or a generalized good input that we can feed it to then give us a really great output. More specifically, let's look at just a generic prompt you might give ChatGPT for understanding how to write a product description. You might write something like this along the lines of, write a product description for a SaaS tool that helps small businesses automate email marketing. It's kind of getting at a specific industry, but again, there's not much direction you're giving to the AI itself. Now, something a little bit better might look like this, where we're breaking down the objective, the role, the brand identity, and key results that we're trying to get out of this specific prompt. So to really sum it up, AI cannot replace your creativity or strategic thinking. It can only just amplify what you put in. So to succeed, you need to understand your business strategies and then learn how to translate those strategies into actionable tasks that AI can understand to perform them for you. So let's look at that first pillar, all about mastering those high-level business strategies. Let's look at product marketing as an example. You don't necessarily need to know how to write a great piece of copy, how to include like your hook, title, description, what's gonna work for your business. Instead, you just need to know the high-level strategy that you want to shoot for, and then how to translate that into very actionable tasks. It's pretty much like the 80-20 rule, where you're gonna be able to get 80% of the value out of learning 20% of the content. And that 20% is the overall strategies and how to translate that into real tasks to then be automated and done for you. And honestly, it's really the same as how that traditional startup advice works. It's like, become a master of your business, know all of the strategies, and then delegate the work to employees or contractors or whatever. But the hard part with that is usually we don't have the time, or we know the people, or we have the money to really have great people do that for us. So we're just replacing that general contractor or employee at the beginning with various AI tools that are really trained and modeled to fill each specific vertical for your business and are specialized in each of them. Now, the hard part with this is you can't just use like ChatGPT to do it all for you. It can be a great foundation, but what I've noticed is that there's a ton of tools already coming out in the market that are specialized in specific parts of your business that if you can chain them together is going to lead to a much higher result and output for you. So you still need that really good input to start and understand if the output you're getting is in line with the general strategy that you need to follow. But by using vertical specific AI tools, you can get much more high quality results. For example, when I was launching my MVP, I already had the high level strategies that I knew I needed for understanding how to build a product. I knew how to think about the architecture, how I could deploy it, how to think through security, authentication, persistence of the database, all that type of stuff. And it would have taken me weeks, months almost, to write all of the code to get the high level thinking I had out of my head. But I was able to use a combination of tools between ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, and mainly powered by V0 to really just do all of that grunt work for me. I could think through at a strategic level, write out essentially the product tickets or chunks of work that I needed done, and then offload that to my AI workflow to do all of the work for me, and I just fill in the small gaps for it. And that's just one example for very specifically how to develop a product. But think about it, there's no reason this could be applied to how to go to market with your product, how to come up with an interview guide, how to find outreach and respond to inbound leads and do outbound leads for you. There's just so many areas that as long as you know what to do, then you can use these tools to do all the work for you. And it's evolving super quickly. Like, I just used V0 and ChatGPT to do my product development, but already there's new tools like Cursor and Devin that can do a ton more for me. And it's really hard to keep up with, honestly. But that's what is really exciting me. And that's what I want to keep sharing with you is all of these various AI workflows that I implement, try, and test out to find what can really help you succeed as a solo founder. For example, I was talking about how I just launched my latest MVP for a directory app specifically, and now it's feature complete, pretty much, and you can go to the site to check it out, but I haven't thought about how to market it. And marketing is not my strong suit. So I'm gonna apply this exact strategy of reading through and understanding the high-level strategy for a product launch, and then taking that knowledge that I learn and applying it to various AI tools that I will research and come across to see kind of what works and what doesn't. And this involves still a lot of learning, honestly, and reading. So for example, I'm reading this book, Ready, Fire, Aim, that's really just talking about how to think through that first stage of running your business. But I can totally see how this framework can apply to it, because really, even the book, it outlines like, here is your specific strategy for launching a product. Do X, Y, and Z. And then it says, well, with this information, now go hire a copywriter to do the work for you. And so really we're just flipping that little piece and saying, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm going to just reach out to AI and find and research the best AI tools for copywriting to do that work for me. And it's gonna be way cheaper, way more time efficient, and get me to the result that I need really quickly. And all of these various workflows and tools that I find that are really valuable, I'll be sure to document them. And you can even get this Solo Builders Toolkit that I put together that has just kind of the beginning of my thought process and how these AI tools can come together to run your business for you. So grab a copy of it. It's linked in the description below. And like I said, this is gonna be ever evolving. There's a lot more to come with it, and it'll automatically refresh for you once you download it with every edit that I make in the future. Now, if you want a deeper dive into that specific AI workflow I use to actually code up and launch my first MVP, be sure to check out this video where I really go in depth into that exact workflow, how to combine the tools, and really how to get your product launched, even if you're just a beginner when it comes to coding. Until next time, peace out.